Thank you everyone for joining today. And it's a great moment for Fintech Nation to bring that project which we started a few months back. So Fintech Nation started as an ecosystem project as a 5-6 years ago. Right before COVID, we were trying to figure out, COVID happened. Founders could not figure out how to reach each other. They couldn't reach their clients. And in 2020, we had our first book, Fintech Nation. And having been a founder myself before, I set up Fintech Association before. So what was the real motivation for us was we wanted something for founders, for investors to make Fintech Hub great. So as you see this great Fintech festival, this is a phenomenal effort from MAS, from Elevandi, now GFTN, and we wanted to complement that. So that was the original foundations of how Fintech Nation came about being. Broadly, we do three things. One is we have an investment fund. We do early stage, 30, 40 companies now. The second part, which is important, is ecosystems. So every year, we figure out new projects. So one of the key things which we do every year is Fintech 65. So 65 is the year of independence for Singapore and also the country code. So neither of the two are ever going to change. So every year we recognize 65 people across different categories. This year had legal and compliance people, partners and enablers, service partners for fintechs, emerging investors. So we said no partners, only junior kids from the VCs. So every year we recognize different people. So those are the kind of ecosystem projects we do. We recently started training women investors with the VC partner on how to understand a term sheet, how to understand a safe note, how to understand ratchet clauses, to build capabilities on that front. So we do a lot of those ecosystems. We run a couple of WhatsApp communities in Singapore, which has regulators inside them. So it's the only country in the world where regulators have an offline way to interact with the local community. So we do a bunch of those across the region. And the last one is think tank. Because if you see, you go around this whole floor, you will not find a single fintech think tank. You will see thought leaderships from so many places, but not even a single think tank. So that was the foundation, and because we had books, which were the foundation, and we started to leverage the books from that perspective, started to do deep industry thought leaderships. And that's where we wanted to figure out what's next. I'll have my colleagues share more stories on why this. But the real foundational thing for us in Think Tank was startup journeys are tough. Exits are tougher now. Funding was tough for last 3 years. Maybe now America, in theory, maybe great becomes great. Funding environment gets solved. Maybe exits happen, but for now, it's a bad time. So which is why you talk to any founder, you say, things are not nice. So we wanted to see the people who want to help these people and how we help these people who are helping the founders visible. So that was the foundation of why we wanted to do this. And we wanted to have a different format. Like people do a lot of different things. There's like podcasts, there are different things. So we wanted to do something different, special, unique Singaporean way. We love our coffees. So we said, a coffee book is it. I'll have my colleague Tavishi share. She's the co-founder of the think tank pillar on how she looks at this, how she looks at the ecosystem and think tank from that perspective, and how we came up with this idea of working with Aspire. Because they're very dear, they're the largest SME neobank in the region. Me and Andrea used to work together in the startup 10 years ago. So it's old history, how we came up with Aspire, how we worked together with the team over the last 6 months to bring this through. I'll have Tavishi share more of that.
Thanks, Varun. Hi everyone, thank you for joining us for this session. So as Varun said, I am Tavishi, I am the co-founder for the think tank within Fintech Nation. Now, when I joined Varun as part of Fintech Nation team around 2 years back, think tank didn't necessarily exist in this shape and format. And we were thinking, how can we take Fintech Nation to even larger forums and give back to the ecosystem in even more meaningful manner? And as I'm sure all of you know, there's this amazing forum called Humans of New York. That's something that we all are aware of. We read some amazing, powerful stories, something now that has been even adapted into other countries. And as Varun said, in a way, this is inspired from Humans of New York. This is where the whole idea came for Superhumans of FinTech, what we are calling as Superhumans of FinTech. Let's keep it simple in terms of what it means, right? As Varun said, and as I'm sure Thomas will, duplicate as well in terms of how he thinks it works. A startup founder's life is not easy. They have day-to-day struggles. It's a physical as well as a mentally exhausting journey. But they're not alone in this. There are a lot of people behind the scenes who are helping them, who are facing these struggles as well. And not often do they get the spotlight. And this is our way of identifying those individuals who are helping these founders overtake these challenges, but also put a spotlight in terms of helping them. So now who can be these individuals? It could be an ex-colleague who went above and beyond. It could be an investor who didn't just put money, but put brains behind it, co-curated something along with the founder. Could be an ecosystem collaborator who introduced someone to the startup founder, and that ultimately led to a partnership along the way. Or, of course, it could be a mentor as well. Now, as Varun said, we also have our own fun. So we really see our startup founders going through that struggle. And this is where the whole idea also kind of resonated with us, that there are stories out there which need to be told so that other people out there can share their own journeys, can share their own experiences, and hopefully there are lessons learned as well as takeaways which everyone can experience together. We have curated some amazing stories from our startup founders. It was a wonderful experience to read some of these stories. There are people who nominated their investors who are now their friends. There are people who were initially just an angel investor but now sit on their boards. There are obviously mentors who were maybe initially just a woman founder finding a woman investor, and maybe that was the common bond, but have now, really culminated into an amazing relationship. So you will see these amazing stories that will later be unveiled as well, but I'll let you read that magic tomorrow when we unveil the book. Now, I would love to talk about why we joined Aspire, and of course, Thomas will talk about it, but as Varun said, Aspire is one of the most amazing platforms and neobanks in Singapore, and they have a huge focus on this as well. And when we were trying to curate this entire book, we couldn't think of anyone better to partner with this on this journey, and we're so happy to have partnered with them. But Thomas, maybe some words on why you think this has turned out so well.
First of all, she exaggerates what we do, but we appreciate the praise. For those of you not familiar with Aspire, we are a digital banking platform. We're not technically a bank since we're here with other fintech people, but we are a banking platform, which is founded specifically with the goal of supporting entrepreneurs and startups in particular. I myself got involved with Aspire in large part because I knew firsthand the difficulty that startup founders have when they're trying to begin building their business, particularly in Singapore. It's easy to set up a business here. The rule of law is great. You can find great talent here. But among all the different things you're trying to do, one of the hardest things can be actually setting up a bank account. And so we were designed, and we got off the ground specifically with the idea of making this easy and of making the financial life of founders easy. And so for us, we know that that's just the beginning of a founder's journey, or really for an entrepreneur. There's so many different things that need to go right. There's a million things that are going to go wrong. But really what does make the difference for an entrepreneur is their own drive, their own ambition, their own know-how, but also the ecosystem of people around them who can support. And many of those people in the ecosystem do it altruistically, frankly. I feel like this initiative is important for the ecosystem as a whole on two levels. One is the systemic level, the other is on a personal level. At a systemic level, I think within fintech and within financial services, it's very easy to look around and think, oh, that guy's my competitor. Oh, we're in the same category as them. They have a rail, we kind of want that rail too. And it can be easy to regard other people, other institutions, other organizations as frenemies in a way. You might collaborate on some things, you might compete on some things. But what I have found is at a systemic level, there are people in the ecosystem who kind of transcend this frenemy dynamic. And rather than think about others as competitors or just others in the same space, they share their learnings, they share their experiences, their resources, the knowledge that they've gained through hard-won experience. And they do this for the betterment of frankly, just to help. And I think it's pretty amazing. On a personal level, I know a number of the people in this book, and I can attest to the stories that are in there. Beyond what has been written, which is honestly just a very short snippet about their life and how they've contributed, I've seen them help me out personally. A lot of my own learning, a lot of my own growth was the result of their mentorship and their guidance too. So some fantastic individuals are featured there. I really do invite you to read the stories. Rachel, who's in the back and who was on a stage earlier just now, is at the very end of the book. So we've saved the best for last. So yeah, let me turn the time back to Varun and Tawishi. And again, the launch is tomorrow. Really invite you to take part.
Yep. The official launch is tomorrow at Paid Forward Lounge, Hall 4 from 11:30 to 12. You'll get a chance to meet all the superhumans as well as the nominees. We'll have some collectible coffee table books as well, special edition. So hope to see all of you there. Varun, any last notes?
We'll have a digital version of it also released tomorrow. It will be on Amazon. You can download it from Aspire's website as well as our websites from tomorrow. We just wanted to keep the suspense up for that, for the thing for tomorrow, when we bring all the people together to actually meet those people for the readers, meet them face to face and then have it. But the important part is like, what's next? It doesn't stop at this book. So what we are already thinking of, some of the things, what's next is, how do you make this as a habit? How do you make expressing gratitude to be a permanent feature? It's not a one-time exercise. I don't believe it should be Fintech Nation and Aspire doing it alone. And we're not enough to do it alone. How each founder feels empowered to do it from that perspective, it inspires another 50, 100 people to go above and beyond. Because let's be honest, we are in Asia, our capital markets are not the greatest. Our best companies would list in global markets, not in domestic markets. So we have to watch out for each other. So if we have to watch out for our companies from that perspectives, not being protectionist, unlike somebody across Atlantic, but just being factional realist. We have to take care of our people, and if we don't, nobody else will. And that's where we're trying to see if there is a merit to extend this, to have a documentary series around it for next year, where there's actual 2, 3-part, 4-part documentary series with people, more people sharing their real journeys, experiences, and stories, to embed that into the DNA and fabric of our startup ecosystem. So for us, this is not to copy it from Amazon per se, but this is day one of making gratitude fashionable again. Because something is getting great again, we want to make ourselves greater from that perspective. So we'll start with gratitude and make gratitude great again.
He can't let go of the making great again joke.
Yeah, he really can't. As a final plug, as our show of gratitude, if any of you need a good deal on banking, there are a few Aspire guys in the room. Aspire guys, raise your hand. Okay. Talk to them if you want a deal. We'll give you a break on FX.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.